Hey friends, I'm out here in the garden and I wanted to do just a really quick video on some trials and some errors, some things that did work, some things that didn't work, and why I did what I did and what about it failed and what about it succeeded. So without further ado, here we go. Do this one a little more vlog style because I'm not grabbing all my equipment, but I had a trellis in here that I had made out of some T-posts and twine, some regular garden twine. It wasn't working out. My tomatoes were tipped over, they weren't happy, and they were just, you know, doing the Detroit lean over here. So what I've decided to do is, I'll insert some footage here of what it looked like before. But what I've decided to do is I got some of these metal stakes really inexpensively at my garden center. They were like $3 a piece, I think. And I'm basically going to use those as a center support for my tomatoes. You know, I was trying to use what I had and be really efficient, and it just wasn't working out. Sometimes you just gotta know when enough is enough. Know when something's working and when it isn't. So I'm gonna take a tip from Jess, and I went in and cut up some t-shirt strips from one of my husband's work shirts. So I'm gonna take a t-shirt strip and just tie it around here, because what I'm noticing is in the places where I've put twine to hold these up, it's like cutting into my tomato plant a little bit, and I don't want that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tie it up with some t-shirt twine. I did have 2 tomato cages that I'm gonna also use, just because I had them, but I was really trying to just make this as cost effective as possible and not have to buy a bunch of stuff, and really just make what I could, and it just didn't work out as good as I had hoped. So I cut up a t-shirt. I've got the t-shirt strands here in my roux apron. So without further ado, here we go. All right, that was successful. I do have some more tomato plants to put in still, and some pepper plants. About a good half of my garden actually to put in still. But let's take a look at these tomatoes and see how the tied up t-shirts are working out. Okay, so I just took a t-shirt and I cut like the waist part of the t-shirt into strips, and then I cut that in quarters, and I just tied like just regular knots kind of loosely around my tomato plants so that hopefully it doesn't dig in, but it's kind of loose so that there's a little bit of room for them to grow. This one also got 2. This guy has 3 because it gets the most sun and it's pretty tall. The Big Honey Delight hybrid, I actually ended up tying 2 pieces together and then tying it to the stake because I had a sucker get out of control. Now I've got 2 main beams on this one. I have to say that if you are doing this is a not a Berry's Crazy Cherry. Why do I always forget this? An atomic grape tomato. A Brad's atomic grape, and then this is my Bulgarian tomato. So I have to say that if you're gonna do this style of, you know, support for your tomatoes, that you should be trimming them, or pruning them rather, to just be one main beam, one main stalk, because if you're not, it will be very difficult to use just one support rod like that. And I have just the one that's just going right down the center of the plant. So I'm hopeful now that we got those up there, that it doesn't damage the root systems bad enough to cause any ill effects. I don't think it will, because these are planted up to their elbows, so the roots are really, really deep. But it will just give them enough support to keep growing and continue to get big. And some of these are beefsteak types, so I worry about supporting the plants when there is fruit on them. So that's going to be my next concern. That'll be my next hurdle. But I wanted to do something efficient and cost effective. I just want to kind of go as basic as possible because sometimes that's really all you need. So more to follow. I am going to do some more planting on this long weekend we have. I have a couple of tomatoes that could go on the ground, a couple of peppers that could go in the ground. So yeah, stay posted. Keep, ring that bell on the subscribe, next to the subscribe button so that you get notifications. And we'll see how this garden experiment continues. Love and light. Have a great weekend, friends.